Hello.
Hi, Alexis. How are you? I have to pronounce you. It's automatic. How are you? Thank you so much. I appreciate you taking the time on such short notice. But
No, that's all right.
uh, to be honest, I'll see how long I can actually be here. I think at least a half hour, and it's fine. But I was just trying to
Yeah, yeah,
space.
yeah. I have been meaning to get back to you via the booking, but
Yeah, no problem. I'm sure you're busy. You're
yeah.
very popular these days, no?
Uh,
Anyways, thank you. I really enjoyed our talk last time, and I've just been thinking, of course, about things that we spoke about and watching your videos. And so a couple things have really just been staying with me. The first one is it's like you hear something, but then you really hear it like a deeper level. And the fact that this is not a thing. I mean, how many times have I heard that? But somehow it's been like, again, I'm having these moments where I'm just like, everything's still there. It's not that woo-woo, but it's just like a little shift where I realize, oh my gosh, there's nothing here. There's nothing happening.
hmm,
Even energy, even aliveness, which I love these words, it's nothing as well. It's not a noun.
hmm,
It's nothing and everything. It's not the void as you mentioned last time, like because that's something, the void. Um, yeah, so it's just, I mean, it's been helpful, but it's been just something that's been with me. And the other thing that I think I heard you say the other day is this isn't going anywhere.
yeah,
And that's so helpful. Again, I just hear it and I'm like, ah, of course, because that subtle, like, what's next? What's next? I do yoga, I meditate, I do kirtan. It's always like maybe in the next moment, maybe, one more song, one more meditation. And meditation does seem to be getting like deeper and more profound in a way. Um, so I think it's just, again, it's just whatever is appearing, just nothing appearing as whatever it is. And yes, it looks like some kind of linear process, but it's not. There's no time. There's no becoming.
hmm,
Um, but as a me, I can only describe it this way. But anyways, these are the two things that have been staying with me. If there's anything you would like to elaborate upon, or
yeah,
or not, I'm happy just to sit here and be with you. But
yeah. So it's all just simply as this. Yeah,
mm,
just all simply as it is.
yeah.
Yeah,
I
just
remember Nisargadatta even years ago I read, he said something like, if you want to do like good in the world, like change the world and be one of these people who's like, I'm gonna go change the world, he said this message is not for you. And for
hmm.
me, I get that in the sense of like, oh, because it's already perfect, it doesn't need to change.
Well, it's also that there isn't anyone. Yeah,
Yeah, right.
there isn't actually anyone to make the world better or worse. Yeah.
Yeah. Or a world, I guess, either, but
No, exactly. The world and me are a dream, yeah. An
yeah.
illusion of separation, yeah. There's already no one and no world. There just is this as it is. Yeah. So
Yeah.
there's no chooser that could go out and, that already is happening without anyone in it. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Everything's happening, even though there's never been a doer. There's never been a doer. Something you said the other day, there's no ego or no person or me in any of it, like any level of it. There's
Hmm.
never been. And again, it was like, oh, okay, yeah, yeah. Because sometimes you hear, I think there's so much, I feel like there's so much talk about the me or the contracted self or the separate self that it becomes me, like it feels so real, and
Hmm.
it creates that feeling of like, okay, it is kind of real though. It's real for me now. I'm blind, I can't see. So how long will it be before this, you know, mask can be removed or Maya or something like that? But
Yeah.
but then when you say it's never been there, it's never actually happening. I can only understand that to the degree that I can, but something resonates and go, oh, okay, okay, yeah, yeah. There's never been a me. Just like I was saying earlier, there's no thing. There's never been a
Hmm.
thing. So
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. There already isn't an illusion. The illusion is that there isn't an illusion. Yeah.
right. The best magic trick ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so nothing needs to happen, nothing needs to fall away, nothing needs to change or become to process to do anything. And there's just already completion. Yeah.
Yeah. That's a great word too. Complete.
Yeah.
I really enjoyed the conversation that you had with Sundar the other day during the Zoom call. I just felt like both of you were like really like specific and detailed, and it was really enjoyable. I can't really remember what it was about right now, but I think you said to him, "There's not even a me that can fall away. We're
Mm.
all waiting for a me to fall away, but again, there's not even a me. So how can a me fall away if there isn't one to begin with?"
Yeah. There is
Yeah.
an apparent collapse of an apparent thing, but it's totally insubstantial. Yeah. So the waiting around for something to happen or the wanting something to change is this too, of course. It's needless freedom appearing as need. But
Hmm.
there can be the sense that someone is having a very real and personal experience, and that is illusory. Yeah. And that apparently falls away, but it's not a reality that really falls away. So it the language that seemingly comes out of the absence that exposes that doesn't really make a great deal of sense because it's exposing that the apparent collapse of the self sense is an illusion because the self sense is an illusion. Yeah. So it fades away, but it's not a reality to actually fade away. It only apparently does. Yeah. So nothing really changes.
Is it kind of like the gateless gate? You go through and look back and there's no gate, or there's no you going you going through the
Well,
gate.
that's kind of a nice analogy or a metaphor. Yeah.
Yeah.
But no one gets through the gate. That's it.
Right. The me definitely doesn't.
And then there's no gate. There's no memory of a gate. There's no one to
Yeah.
remember the gate. There's no relationship between a me and a gate. There's just nothing.
Right,
Yeah.
right. All of a sudden I've created a gate.
Yeah.
The image maker again. Yeah. Yeah, I think Tony said something like, it's not until after it falls away you realize it was never there in the first place, or something similar. I'm sure I'm not.
Yeah, it's sort of recognized by no one. It's the appearance of a recognition that no one was ever having a personal experience that could have ever changed or become something new or fallen
Mhm.
away. Yeah.
Yeah.
The recognition is that there is no one to be recognizing. There's just this. Yeah.
Mhm. And I know it's language and stuff like that, but it's very subtle. But even talking about a message, really, it's a message coming from no one, going to no one, right? I
Mm.
mean,
Yeah. Yeah.
and yet something not needs to be said, but something is said during meetings and things like that. Yeah, to just say like,
Yeah,
this is,
speaking and listening happening, questions,
mm,
comments, and laughter and sitting quietly
mhm,
and waiting around and anticipating and enjoying what's happening. It's all just this really.
yeah,
What the meeting sort of starves. It's like a starving the
yeah.
this.
I'm talking to Alexis actually. Sorry. Oh, okay. Tell her I said hi. Sorry. Yeah.
It's like the self sense gets starved of oxygen, of
Yeah.
all of the of all of the wants to go somewhere and to be, to achieve something, to move on a path. Like the meeting seemingly starves that whole sort of wanting and seeking energy because there's nowhere for it to go, and it's revealed that it's not an it in the first place, and that there's no real going or coming, and that starvation simply only apparently allows for an openness to to seemingly expose the obviousness of what is.
Mm.
I mean, all
And
of that just doesn't really make sense, but
and that
it
is
comes out
that
enough.
is that is compassion, right? That's
It would
compassion
seem to
killer.
be
Compassion.
yeah, it's an apparent compassion because the compassion is apparent because the self
Right.
that's apparently dying into unconditional love is apparent. Yeah. So compassion is just another appearance in that way. The communication, the meeting, the whatever that seemingly exposes the illusion simply compassionately allows for that to die and dissolve. But no one does that. No one's in it. No one's on the giving or the receiving end of that. Yeah. And
It's just a
because there's no real self to fall away, there's no real compassion to alleviate the suffering.
right. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm starting to move into hypotheticals because obviously we know that there are people that are having like greater suffering than me because my tea is too hot or something like that. But you can never know what you would maybe say to somebody in that situation, and maybe something would just be said that feels compassionate or caring or empathetic or something like that. But
Hmm.
no one's doing it, so it doesn't really matter, I guess. Yeah, I resonate with what you say in terms of I was listening to another, maybe it was this week. There was a Zoom meeting. It seemed like anger was a topic that kept popping up. I'm not sure if that was this week or maybe it's an old recording I listened to, but
Hmm.
might have been from a month ago. But and you were talking about sending loving kindness, which is something you used to do before you fell away, let's say. And I also, of course, I have a very sweet mother who I love dearly. My father's very sweet too, but my mother's like a social worker and just so sweet and always working with homeless people and whatnot. And so of course I'm very connected to her and I feel I have that trait. Um, but yeah, I've had anger issues at times too, or just that whole story again about being selfish um and just seeing through that. So I guess it's again, I realize I feel that you never really understand what it might be like to not have the me anyways, in terms of even how you perceive anger or these heavy states or emotions. I feel like I'm getting better with just letting them flow through as energy and just recognizing actually having pets has helped me with anger because I realize at least for that kind of anger, it's there's love on the other side, like I love my pets so much. And I've learned like, if my dog is like, I don't know, trying to eat something, I'm like, no, don't eat it. It's not that I don't want him to eat something. I'm trying to limit his experience. So I love him and I'm just so, you know,
Hmm.
concerned for him that I don't want him to eat something bad or something like that. But yeah. But just seeing fear and love or anger and love, trying to see it, I guess it's still from the perspective of a me, but anyways, any of this making sense?
Yeah, I mean, anger is not a problem, really. I mean, nothing is actually a problem. There's just anger and fear and sadness and joy and laughter and whatever else, kindness. It's all appearance of this, and as this
Yeah.
is appearing as all of that. But there's no one to relate to anger. There's just simply anger. In
Hmm.
the dream, there's someone having anger, relating to anger, and apparently trying to deal with anger. But there's no chooser already to to go through that and to work
Yeah.
with it and to transform it. That's the deal that is often sold when one learns to meditate and is told how to work with emotions and make them more skillful and positive. And what is revealed is that there's no such thing as positive or negative emotions. No one's having emotions to deem them this way or that way. They're just simply energy appearing as emotion. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Hmm. Yeah. It's kind of interesting for me though when I get triggered by somebody, they say something and I'm like, oh, like why did they say that? And I just feel that bit of anger coming up. There's still someone that's trying to how do I deal with that? Do I respond? Do I just stay quiet or whatever? But that's also just speaking of my dog. Hello. Hi. The dance of the me trying to deal with life.
Mm. Yeah.
Yeah. I'll say something. I'll be vulnerable here, but I noticed that I was listening. This is quite early on when I was listening to you, and you were in New York. I used to live in New York actually, and I felt like I don't know really what was going on in that room, but I felt like some of the people were, I don't know, being mischievous at least, or a little rowdy or something.
Yeah.
And I know how New Yorkers can be, and I felt very protective of you. I thought, oh my gosh, here's this beautiful soul, like uh sharing this message with you that's so amazing. And you guys are like heckling and I don't know, there's movement in the background and all this. Maybe it was fine, but I mention it because I feel that now there's something in me that already feels like I want to protect you or take care of you. And I'm not sure where that's coming from, but
Oh,
yeah.
that's sweet. Yeah, no, mischief can happen plenty in meetings. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
And all of these sort of distractions and avoidance can appear to happen.
Mhm.
Getting bored, getting angry, getting irritable. I mean, all sorts of things can seem to happen, which is already, of course, natural and normal in any other circumstances. But it can flare up apparently more in
Yeah.
meetings because there's just nothing to get, nothing to do, nothing to achieve, nothing to be. So, phone screens might switch on, looking around, trying to, you know,
Yeah.
getting
Be
irritable,
entertained, right?
yeah,
Nothing to
scratching,
be. Yeah.
yeah, and all this can seem to happen. And
Yeah.
then trying to make jokes or and sometimes even trying to ask questions just to make this more interesting somehow, because
Right.
this sort of experience of the separate illusory experience is always not good enough somehow. So there's attempts to make it more interesting or exciting, and maybe even trying to sit and work with boredom could become a practice or a process. So it's
Mhm.
all of these seeming appearances of this whatever's happening and and it sort of seems to die down and then it might flare up again and then it dies. So
Mhm.
it's like energetically fascinating when these meetings play out in this way. Yeah,
Yeah.
no meeting is ever the same, really. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure. Yeah. And silly question, but I guess for you, it just comes and goes. It's just like anything else. It just appears, and maybe there's a chuckling that happens inside of you, or not even, or just sort of like oh, uh, I mentioned this Zoom meeting. There was one about Adam and Eve and the tree of knowledge, and some woman said, "Speak for yourself," and I thought, why did that trigger her? There's like a
Oh,
curiosity, but
yeah,
yeah,
yeah, yeah.
but for you, it just it comes and goes.
It's all the spice. It's just like the spice of aliveness.
The
Yeah.
spice of life. Ah.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes body needs to defend itself or, whatever, and that happens in free flow too, of course.
Mhm.
Whatever's, the response happens as it happens, but no one does ever anything ever. Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So the responding and everything is total aliveness and it's unpredictable. Yeah, there's no control.
Mm. Yeah. I guess I will never know what that is like.
I
I
mean, it's
mean,
not like anything, and it is as it is this as it is. It's not anything to be known about. It's not some sort of divine mystery.
mm,
It's just simply this as it is. There's just no one knowing it. That's all. That would be the only apparent difference, but it's not even really a difference.
mm,
So it's not the same either, but it's just this as it is, happening
yeah.
without doership, knowership, relationship, or ownership.
If I were to ask you just to see what would come out of you, like give me your strongest teaching,
Whoa.
the one that will really annihilate the me, what would
Oh,
what would be the response?
the response is that you're not already happening to die.
Ah, yeah.
And there's no teaching that can lead to this, what is already absolute freedom. There's nothing that needs to happen. The need for something to happen is needless freedom.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's needless. There's just needs and wants seeking.
Yeah. There's no need, but there's a want, apparently, right? There's no need for that to happen,
Appearance,
but there seems to be a
appearance
want
of
of like,
hmm,
yeah.
yeah, appearance of wanting, which is absolutely this. There's just no one wanting. And there's no way to end the wanting because any attempt to end the wanting is just wanting in
Right, right.
disguise. You know, help me stop wanting. I want to stop wanting. There's nowhere it can go to stop wanting. It is the wanter. And that just is not a reality in the first place to actually really fall away. No, it doesn't need to fall away. It's so obvious that it just is an energetic appearance of resistance. And that's not wrong, it's not bad, it's not unholy, it's not a mistake or an accident. It's just simply energy, boundless love in disguise. Not even in disguise, really, but and it's waiting around for something to happen, what perhaps wanting something to happen, wanting something to change, wanting to die, accept, surrender, blah, blah, blah. It goes on these different tangents and finds ways to think about how it can, you know,
Yeah.
die or whatever, but it's already not real.
Mm. My father watched our last interview, and he's a scientist, biologist, but he also meditates, and so we have talks sometimes. Actually, he did his thesis about awareness in the 70s and stuff like that. But anyways, he said something about there were a few times where we just sat in silence, and he thought like, oh, this was like amazing that the two of you could just sit in silence and not say anything. And
Mm,
I wanted to say like, just because I was texting, I just wanted to say like, oh, those moments to me were like so precious. And yes, I felt uncomfortable only in the sense that I felt like, am I boring him? Or maybe I should say something, or maybe I should ask a question. But especially during that last talk in the silence, I said to you before, it was like a darshan experience for me. A lot of energy in my head and whatnot. And I mean, yeah, maybe I would gain the courage if we continued to talk or if I went to Zoom meetings or whatnot, just to be able to be and not feel like I had to ask something or say something. But because I think the silence is just so beautiful.
mm. Yeah, I mean, beingness is all there is. So silence and sound, talking and quietude is all this, totally equally this. Yeah. So sitting quietly or talking loudly, it's all this, totally. Yeah.
I feel like Robert De Niro, like you're good. You remember from the Therapist movie? I forget.
I didn't see that one. Yeah.
It's from the 80s. I'm a bit older than you are, but he kept telling his therapist, you're very good. Yes. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's all this, like sitting quietly
Yeah.
or not, it doesn't matter. There's no right or wrong way for being to
Mm.
be. It just
I
is.
suppose, yeah, sorry. For you, of course, that's how it is, or not you, but for me, I can see the desire to ask a question or to talk, which is coming from a little bit of nervousness or uncomfortability or whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And
just
that's
to be
also
quiet.
absolute beingness, that doesn't need to change. The
Yeah.
desire
Mm.
to rest or relax is absolute freedom.
Mm.
The irritableness, agitation, trying to get money's worth, or whatever else the thoughts appear, like, how can I squeeze the juice out of this, make it better? It's like it's all this. Everything
Right.
is absolute beingness. That's all. This is an exposure that everything is absolute equal beingness. And there's not
Uh,
even equality because there's no real duality for there to be two. So there is just beingness. Absolute. It's all this. Yeah.
so simple, huh?
Mm,
Yeah. Yeah. Even the word this, I mean, yeah, it's so simple and yet it's not a thing again, but
no. No word ever quite cuts it because the words are this too.
mhm.
There's no way to step outside of this to then claim it or know it or
Comment on it.
label it. So it's not even an it. There's
Mhm.
no there's no separation. So therefore words never really elaborate on what is because words are what is as well.
Mhm. I like how you said in one of your videos, nobody really knows where the thoughts are appearing.
Mm.
I mean, we just assume, oh, the brain is creating 60,000 thoughts a day or whatnot. But it's true if you think about it, like, where is the thought happening? It's just
Yeah,
here. It's
yeah,
a bit bizarre and amazing in a way that all of a sudden we can hear, like song lyrics or the voice in the head, as Eckhart Tolle talks about, but where, where is it? Where is it
yeah,
located?
yeah. And what is it that's going to find out where thoughts are?
Me.
There's no location at all. So there's no location of thoughts. There's no location of body even either.
Yeah.
So
Mm,
the apparently body can seem to kind of register that thoughts don't have a location, but
mm,
body can't register that body doesn't have a location. There's no location. There's no here. So that there's no space really. That's the illusory experience. There's no real position of anything.
mm. Something kind of shifted when you said that, became very.
when that's exposed, people that yeah, that sometimes body tends to what?
Excuse me? Okay, I'll have tea too. Good food. Cheers.
Oh, it's lovely chatting with you, Philip.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I love it. It's great. Yeah.
What have you got?
Tea wise,
Yeah.
it's my girlfriend made it for me actually. I think it's peach. I should know because I'm drinking it, but I'm not great with flavors. I know that sounds silly, but in my Paris cup, but yeah,
Nice.
peach. Yeah. I was watching what's that called? Something Horses on Apple TV the other day with Gary Oldman. And anyways, one of the scenes happened in Leicester. Is it Leicester? Leicester?
Oh,
Where
Leicester.
you're
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I was like, hey, that's where Alexis lives.
Oh, right.
The sign from the universe.
Yeah.
Oh,
He's
Slow
like,
Horses.
oh,
This is a very good cast. But
oh,
yeah.
yeah. How about that?
I'm trying to think of something to say that could make the experience deeper.
Yeah. Yeah. As though there was a depth.
Mm. Yeah, you spoke about no dimensions last time, and
Hmm.
yeah, thinking about that. No dimensions, no layers,
Yeah.
location.
Depth would be another direction that someone can apparently move in to make this more fruitful somehow. Like
Mm.
if I deepen my meditation or if I deepen my presence, my whatever it is, being in the now,
Yeah,
abidance, deepen, it's, that's a very sort of spiritual kind of
yeah.
path-based experience of the energy of separation. It wants to deepen what's happening somehow because that would be another sort of addiction, really. Is how can I
Mm.
deepen? How can I get into deeper states of whatever?
Mm.
Yeah, but there is no depth. Yeah, there's no real depth. I mean, there's you could say there's the appearance of depth, but it's not a reality either.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, something wants to. I love swimming actually. I love going to the bottom of pools, you know. I can't hold my breath that long, but I love just submerging and just sinking and
Hmm.
feeling that fullness of the water around me.
Hmm.
Does Tony feel like a grandfather to you at all, or?
Um,
Projection.
oh,
He's
I
beautiful.
do love him more than words can say.
I'm sure. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to see him only once, and I was staying at the hotel actually across from where he usually meets. And I had my Nisargadatta I Am That book because I was traveling for a while, and when I travel, I sometimes read it. And I remember he was sitting there meeting some people before the meeting, and I was like, "I've got the Nisargadatta book," and he was like, "Ah," you know. But anyway, he's just so fun and wild,
Yeah,
in such a beautiful way, just so free. And
yeah.
just seeing him walk across the street, like he was kind of limping a little. And again, I was like, "Oh wow," like you don't see these things on YouTube videos, and but yeah, and he was so thoughtful during the meeting. He would come up to me during the break. Everything okay? You enjoying yourself? Did you get
Oh,
some tea? And oh, wow, this is yeah. I'm a sucker for kindness. I mean, just a little kindness, and I'm like, oh, I love you.
yeah, yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. He is very.
Yeah.
He's fierce and feisty and
Right.
wild and passionate, but he's also
Yeah.
very gentle and tender and sweet. There's so I mean this we're describing a character that's not real, but
Yeah.
it's such there's
Right.
such love. Yeah, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Where was this? When and where was that?
This was must have been 2018.
Hmm.
Can't remember the month. It would have been between September and February because I had a certain job where every 4 weeks I had time off. So I forget when yeah.
And that was in England, was it? Or...
Yeah, yeah,
Hmm.
yeah. My only time there. I loved England. I really resonated with it. I was in Bath having lunch and I was like, I might do it now. I just in this it said it was like the oldest restaurant, which didn't matter to me per se, but it was just something I felt so connected to this place. Um, it just moved me to tears. And then I went to Wales. My father used to think we were from Wales, but we're not from England, I guess. But um, a Stonehenge, of course. But yeah, it was just I really loved it. I'd love to go back at some point. We'll see what happens. But hello, my dog is whimpering. Would you like attention?
Oh,
My girlfriend's actually getting a reading right now in the other room, which is kind of funny in a way, but
oh, that is funny. Yeah.
and I'm in this room doing this. She's telling her all about the me, and you're telling
Oh,
me about there's no me.
wow.
Yeah. Seeming opposites,
Mm,
but all this, yeah,
all this, yeah.
yeah.
And there's a European tour happening. I
I
don't
saw it,
know
yeah.
which place is closest to United Arab Emirates, but
Yeah, they're probably all pretty
still
much the same in a way, but
still
like a
quite far, I
6 hour
imagine.
flight. Yeah, it's about a 6 hour flight usually to
Oh,
London, 6 or 7. Yeah.
yeah. Hmm.
I'm thinking about it. I would love to join
Yeah,
you and yeah.
yeah, yeah. Hmm. Hmm.
Did you ever do any chanting when you were a Buddhist or
Yeah.
like gate gate or
Oh,
Pada?
yeah, yeah. Parigate, yeah, yeah.
I
Did
love that one.
yeah. The Heart Sutra is quite beautiful, actually. Yeah, yeah. I used to chant mantras and
Mm,
do pujas,
mm.
do all that japa meditation.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, different kinds. Yeah, it was all very fun and exciting and colourful and vibrant. Yeah.
yeah,
Mm. And they're lovely stories, there's the archetypal appearances. There's something kind of fantastical and
mm.
like Lord of the Rings or something. It's
Oh
very,
yeah,
colourful and vibrant for those who are into,
yeah.
mysticism or whatever. It
Oh
is
yeah,
interesting.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
some
Yeah,
characters are into that and others not so much, and it's all
I
there.
love it. Yeah, yeah. Mythology, mysticism. I mean, yeah.
Mm.
I mean, I could put on a candle and listen to like Enya or something. Not
Oh, I
Enya, maybe,
love
but
Enya.
yeah,
Yeah,
okay. For like hours, and I would just be so happy, just in bliss.
yeah,
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 absolutely.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
And then they both thought about Enya.
Yeah.
Did
Yeah.
you ever enjoy Monty Python when you were growing up, or
I never really got into it, but
yeah,
I did watch The Holy Grail and Life of Brian. I
yeah,
think I would like to watch them again actually, because it's been quite some time, apparent time.
yeah,
But yeah, no, I didn't really grow up with it. I think it was a little bit sort of earlier on, wasn't it? In the 80s,
yeah, yeah.
70s.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. Classics though, obviously. Yeah.
yeah.
It's a comedy.
I mean, the absurdity is what I'm talking about, really, or I
Yeah,
mean, serious things, the holy cow, right? The holy,
right.
and
Yeah.
then the absurdity of it. And somehow you don't feel, I didn't ever feel ever that they were actually making fun of something in a hurtful way. It's like they were showing maybe the way that we do sort of revere things or put things on pedestals and sort of the silliness and of
Mm.
course, even beyond silliness, I mean, I remember being with a priest who was trying to light a candle for Mother Mary and he couldn't get it to light. And I don't know, it just made me laugh. And he looked at me with such anger. And I was like, oh my gosh. I mean,
Oh,
it's just a candle, it's just a moment.
yeah,
Of course, I have reverence, but
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. A video just came out yesterday,
Hmm.
and it sort of talks about how in the experience of individuality, everything can seem incredibly serious and
Hmm.
personal, and
Yeah.
there's just no real seriousness or personalness or importance to anything. I mean, that
Yeah.
doesn't mean that the character just goes around laughing at PTSD victims or whatever, but
Right. Right. Right.
there's
Yeah.
just no seriousness really. I mean, when body needs to do something, it does. When there's pain, there's responding, or at least that tends to
Yeah.
be how it goes down.
How'd it go? Good. You want to say hi to Alexis real quickly? Do you mind? This is
No,
Suzanne.
that's fine.
Here, you're in the. It's Gloria.
How are you?
Yeah, good. How are you?
Good, good.
She just had a reading.
Yeah, I just had. Okay, I'll let you continue. She said hi to you.
Okay, okay.
Oh, yeah. Where were we?
I don't know, I forget.
Oh, yeah, we were talking about seriousness. Yeah,
Oh yeah, right, right, right.
seriousness.
Right, right. It's not that it's all
Everything.
like wild, crazy or clowns or something and makeup, but
Yeah,
yeah.
no,
Yeah. I
it's
mean, it
just
could be, it's everything, right? It just,
yeah.
it, for me, it's like, I'm very childlike, I mean, I've always been, and I like that. Yeah, so it's not, but at work I can be serious, when it's called
Hmm.
for. I mean, I'm a teacher at an academy, and
Yeah,
you
of
know,
course.
but there are moments where you just, what is life if you can't have joyful moments, or if you can't laugh at yourself, or just have a
Mm,
moment of levity, and
mm,
so
yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, I mean,
everything in context, but
yeah, I guess for the individual experience, it because there's an apparent sense of self that then relates to everything and
Mm,
apparently relates to itself, it tends to take itself very, very seriously. And when this whole illusory self sense has collapsed and it's revealed that it never was a real thing, it
mhm.
is a bit like the emperor with no clothes. It's like
Yeah.
there's a total laughter of,
Right,
I
right.
mean, not always.
Yeah.
That's a, but
Mm,
there can be just a tremendous laughter about
mhm.
the nonsensical, absurdity and everything is just simply what it is, and nothing is serious really. Nothing is that important. But when the body needs to respond to pain, it tends to respond to pain if that's the conditioning. But apart from the horrors, which I
Yeah,
mean, most people aren't really in that situation, so
exactly.
not there's not really a lot of
Right.
seriousness.
Right, right.
But the self sense tends to take itself and everything very seriously. I mean, it
Yeah.
tends to. It's another generalization. It would seem to be a symptom of the
Mm,
disease of the separation experience, which is
mm,
also energetically unconditional love appearing as a position, which isn't real at all. Yeah.
yeah. I feel for all the people. I mean, I was one of them, but all the people that do take the spiritual path or religion so seriously, and it
Yeah.
just looks like they're not having very much fun at all.
No, no.
They're just trying to get everything right and perfect, and it's impossible. And yet they're, breaking their backs trying to be saints or something, and it just
Reoccurringly tripping over the rites and the rituals, stumbling around, trying
yeah.
not to be, too shameful or ashamed of not being shameful and all of this,
Right.
falling around and trying never quite upholding the values perfectly, and yet no one even in that doing any of it at all. Yeah, it's kind of hilarious. The energy could
Yeah.
appear that way,
Yeah.
it's quite
Yeah.
laughable. And when it's so obvious that no one's in there, it's sort of wonderful.
Yeah, well, that's true. It is a relief, I guess. Yeah,
You know? And
it's
then,
actually,
and then, you know, sooner or later, although timelessly so, the whole thing collapses and it's just over, and it never was a reality that ever actually happened to
yeah,
anyone or
uh,
anything.
yeah. Wow.
Yeah.
That's deep.
Oh, is it deep? I thought it was surface level. Yeah.
So, well, thank you so much. I feel I need to go, but thank you so much. I really enjoyed this talk.
Mm.
And I definitely would like to just be part of a Zoom at some point, just to, be with the group, kind of feel what that is like. But
Yeah, yeah.
I
If
don't,
ever and whenever you want to join, you know, people just join along and sit in the background or whatever.
yeah. Yeah, that might be nice too. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. You'd be most welcome.
Thank you so much.
Mm.
Have a good night.
Well, you too, Philip. Yeah, lovely to chat
Thank
with
you.
you again.
You too. Thank you so much.
Yeah, we'll stay in touch.
Yes, definitely.
Are
Thank you.
you okay with this going on YouTube? I'll cut out I cut out the interaction there if you want more.
Oh, it doesn't matter. Whatever you'd like. Yeah, it's fine.
Yeah, shall I cut out the interaction with the partner or?
No, I mean, let's throw her in there if you don't mind.
Well, if she doesn't mind, then yeah.
No, you don't mind, do you? There's no one there. So no, I'm joking. No,
Okay.
actually, to be honest, she's been listening to non-duality since January, and
Ah,
oh, okay.
okay.
So
All right.
yeah, yeah.
Great.
Anyways, yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah. Lots of love.
Lots of love. Thank you. Where are
Bye.
the heart?
Oh yeah, the hearts. Yeah, all right.
Can you do it? Oh, wow.
Yeah, there they
Oh,
are.
Prema Swarupa.
It's become a meaningless ritual. Yeah, in and of itself.
That's great.
Oh,
Wonderful.
see you again soon.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.